heavy rain is already hitting some areas, giving us a glimpse of what's to come over the next several days. Right now, our team of meteorologists are tracking the potential for flash flooding across several counties.
Yeah, we've been dealing with issues off and on for the last month. Tonight, we're getting you prepared for the biggest threats to your home and your family. We have team coverage with Jason Miles on the island tonight. Jalissa Garza live here in Houston.
But we begin with Chief Meteorologist David Paul on the storm system in the southern Gulf and what it means for you, Dave.
And it means rain. And we were just showing you that live shot from our storm tracker. We've had scattered heavy downpours off and on today. Those look like they're beginning to weaken, but you can see waves of moisture continue to come up off the Gulf. There's more moisture out in the Gulf of Mexico, and this is all part of a system that it's struggling to get organized. It's a potential tropical cyclone. It's right here. The center's trying to get organized here, but I want you to notice how far north the tropical moisture extends, all the way from the southern Gulf to St. Louis, Missouri. And so that moisture already well inland in the central Gulf states, it's going to head into the western Gulf states, that's us, and we're going to end up getting rounds of rain from this. This is now designated as potential tropical cyclone number 1. What that means is a closed low, a cyclone has not formed yet, but the Hurricane Center thinks it's likely to, and because it's getting close to land, Mexico in this case, they want to make sure they've got a forecast cone out for it so no one gets caught off guard. So that's what we've got here. That's our forecast cone from the Hurricane Center. They believe it does become a tropical storm. Alberto's the first name on the list, and that would make landfall on Wednesday south of Brownsville, north of Tampico on the Mexico coast, which is hundreds of miles from Houston. So what's the big deal? Well, the thing is that broad counterclockwise rotation is going to bring a slug of moisture in here, and we're on the dirty side of this system, and so we end up with heavy rain, which begins tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and into Wednesday morning. We could have some very heavy rain, and when it's all said and done by the end of Wednesday, maybe 4 to 6, 8, 9 inches in some spots. We'll take a closer look at the timing of that heavy rain, and I'll show you why the storm is moving in the direction it is with the steering currents when I see you again in a few minutes.
Yeah, if you're just moving to Houston, David, you're getting a lesson or about to on the dirty side of a storm. Tonight, the city of Houston says you need to start preparing for this week's flood threat right now. But that's easier said than done for so many of you still cleaning up from last month's storms. KHOU 11's Jalissa Garza spoke with neighbors in Timber Grove, now dealing with low-hanging wires blocking access to their street again. She's live, Jalissa.
Yeah, well, Len, as for the city of Houston, they're warning today that we all need to be ready for this week's flood threat. But for those residents still recovering from back-to-back spring storms, they say that's easier said than done. And they tell me that problems just continue to pile up. The Worcester Court cul-de-sac in the Timber Grove area is finally clear of debris after Mays Derecho left piles behind.
Between 5 and 7 feet tall in front of each one of our houses, plus some. So it wasn't just in front of our houses, it was kind of circling the entire cul-de-sac.
Trash pickup was disrupted and people could barely park their cars. Now those challenges are back because of these low-hanging wires.
We've been able to maneuver small cars out going over kind of a curb. But this has been since Saturday that it's been down. So we're coming up again on trash and recycling on Thursday, and there's no way. We've already missed yard waste for the week.
Siobhan Greaser says they're now especially concerned with the rain on the way.
If the gutters are blocked, if there's anything that can hold up, we are an area that floods. We flooded in Harvey. We try and be prepared, and when, it kind of feels like you're getting roadblocks and roadblocks as you prepare.
City leaders are also bracing tonight.
We're doing everything we can to pick up the debris from previous storms and also doing our best to improve our drainage.
Leaders are making sure all hands are on deck to help any Houstonians who need it and urge folks to be weather aware.
As far as the Houston Police Department is concerned, we are better prepared than ever before. Today, we have over 20 high water rescue trucks. We have over 30 boats. We have almost 300 officers that have been trained in swift water, and water rescue.
Back in Timber Grove, Siobhan and her neighbors just hope these wires are gone soon.
I have 4 small kids. I think about fire trucks and an ambulance and all of those things.
Now, neighbors are unsure if the low-hanging wires belong to AT&T or CenterPoint. We reached out to both companies who looked into it and told me moments ago that it doesn't belong to either one of them. So we're still trying to figure out who this belongs to so we can help these residents get this cleaned up before that rain rolls in. Back to you.
Trying to get it together one more time. Jalissa, thank you.
Further south precautions are underway on Galveston Island ahead of this potentially threatening weather. Officials are sharing advice on what you should be doing if you live close to the coast. Jason Miles is live from the island with more this evening. Jason.
Well, number one, guys, plan ahead. It's been a sunny, rather comfortable day here, but I can tell you the wind has really picked up over the last couple of hours, and the red flags, they are flying because of the rough surf you may be able to see behind me and the potentially hazardous swimming conditions, things that may only worsen in the coming days. Take a look at some video we shot earlier as people enjoyed the day here on Galveston Island, some of them even getting into the water despite the red flag warnings. Now at this point, impacts over the coming days expected to include heavy rain, high winds, high tides that could actually reach all the way to the seawall. Low-lying areas on the island and elsewhere in Galveston County might see issues as well. Lifeguard towers here along the beaches and other items were moved this morning from the sand to higher ground along Seawall Boulevard as a precaution.
And they're working on trash cans and stuff like that. We're also clearing out under the buildings that are on the beach. We've got that done.
Most of our team here has been through this before, but it's a good refresher course on what we need to be prepared for.
That was Galveston County Judge Mark Henry chatting with us earlier. We checked in with him and others, including the National Weather Service, earlier at the Emergency Operations Center. That's over near League City, built to withstand a Cat 5 hurricane, by the way. They're prepared to issue any advisories as needed. Again, any weather event is good opportunity to review your own safety plans at home, not to mention evacuation routes. Obviously, in this case, we don't anticipate at this point any of that happening, but you never know. Meantime, some Juneteenth events, specifically here on Galveston Island, planned for Wednesday, have been moved to Saturday because of the impending weather. Reporting live from the island, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
Remaining flexible amid all of this changing weather. Jason Miles, thank you. And be sure to download the free KHOU 11 app. You can track tomorrow's storms with live radar. And if you enter your zip code, we'll send you alerts when severe weather is heading your way.
New